day 812 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 3514, number of unique XOR triplets 2. The difficulty level is medium, but don't worry because you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given an integer array nums. A XOR triplet is defined as the XOR of three elements nums I XOR nums of j XOR nums of k, where I is less than or equal to j and j is less than or equal to k. Return the number of unique XOR triplet values from all possible triplets I, j, and k. Alright, y'all, so that may seem a little bit confusing at first, so let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just to make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So, in example 1, we have our input nums equals an array of integers 1 and 3. The output is 2. Explanation says the possible XOR triple values are. We could do 0, 0, 0, which would be 1, 1, 1. So that's just this index 0. That's what these zeros mean. Index 0, which would be 1 XOR 1 XOR 1. That's going to equal 1. Then another triplet, we could do index 0, 0, index 1. So we could do this. We could XOR this twice and then XOR this once. And then so that will give us 3. Boom. Then we could do 0, index 0, 1, 1. Sorry, index 0, 1, 1. So we could XOR this once and this 3 twice. So that's what this is right here, and that has an answer of 1. Or we could just XOR index 1 3 times itself, and that would be 3. But as you can see, we want the number of unique XOR triplet values. So in this case, we have 1, 3, 1, 3. So the unique value would be 1 and 3. So there are 2 unique values, so that's why the output is 2. Boom. Now, just in case that didn't make sense, let's take a look at example 2. So in example 2, our input nums equals an array of integers 6, 7, 8, 9. That says the possible XOR triplet values are 6, 7, 8, 9. Thus, the output is 4. So boom, that's how we got the output 4, because the values right here, there are 4 different unique values. So boom, I hope that makes sense to y'all. And now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. The solution is not that difficult at all. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to remove the duplicate numbers, since repeating the same value does not create any XOR results. And we're going to do that by using, you guessed it, a set. So we're going to say unique nums equals a set, open up the parentheses, pass in nums. Now we're going to create a variable called prev, which will store the XOR results from the previous iteration. Initially, the only possible values are the numbers themselves, equivalent to choosing one number. So we'll come underneath this. We'll declare a variable called prev. We'll say colon set less than and greater than equals unique nums. Boom. Then cur will store the XOR results generated in the current iteration. So we're going to declare a variable called cur colon set less than int greater than. We're going to initialize it with a blank array. Boom. Now we're going to perform 2 or more rounds of the XOR combinations. After the first iteration, prev contains all XOR of 2 numbers. After the second iteration, prev contains all XOR of 3 numbers. So we're going to say 4 underscore and 1 dot 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 2. We'll open up the brackets and we'll try combining every unique number. So we'll say 4 num 4 num2 and prev. We'll open up the brackets and XOR the values together and store the result. A set automatically removes duplicate XOR values. So we'll say cur dot insert, open up the parentheses, num XOR num2. Then we need to move the newly generated XOR values into prev so they can be used in the next iteration. So we'll come underneath this and we'll say prev equals cur. Boom. Then we're going to clear cur before generating the next level of XORs. So we'll come underneath this, we'll say cur equals square bracket. Then we're going to return the number of distinct XOR values that can be formed using 3 numbers. So we're going to come right here. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. Because we need to, let me see, wrap this. This should be in for num and unique nums. Open up the brackets, close the brackets, and we're going to move this in between these brackets, and we're going to come right here. Hold on, because that did not. Oh yeah, hold on. We just delete that. We're back. We're back good, y'all. Sorry, false alarm. Because now we just come right here and return the number of distinct XOR values that can be formed using 3 numbers by saying return. Sorry, y'all. Return prev dot count, y'all. Boom. That should be all she wrote. Let's give it a run. Make sure it runs properly. Cannot find unique nums. Oh, let's get rid of this R right there and run it again. Hopefully that fixed it. Let's see, it's accepted. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after it's submitted. Let's see. And look at that, y'all. 2,272 milliseconds beats 100% of users. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see, y'all. So, with that being said, y'all, make sure you get one more look at the code. This is the top part. This is the bottom part. And yeah, y'all, I hope y'all learned something today. And I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.